Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, a good Monday morning to you from the Par-Mar Store studio. Welcome to the show. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live comes to you from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Par-Mar and Game Changer presenting the annual Par-Mar Shootout on the campus of West Virginia State University starting February the 5th, running through the 8th. 4 big days, 8 exciting boys and girls basketball games each day, with the first game starting at 9:30 in the a.m. For a complete list of games, visit Par-Mar Stores on Facebook and X. And the show is brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group, including the all-new Thornhill Toyota on the Thornhill Motor Mile US 119 to Chapmanville, where their grand opening celebration continues. Visit them in person on US 119 on the Thornhill Motor Mile in Chapmanville, or online at thornhilltoyotawv.com. Well, coming up a little later on the show, it's Mayor Monday. Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin will join us. The 60-day session gets underway later this week. State Democratic Party Chair and Delegate Mike Pushkin will be stopping by for just a moment. And there's going to be a special job fair that's going to be going on, not only here in Charleston, but also in Vienna tomorrow, sponsored by Goodwill. Megan Deal from Goodwill is going to join us to talk about that. So as you can see, we're loaded up this morning. Your calls and texts are welcome, too. Text to the show, our service of Fruth Pharmacy. Find the perfect over-the-counter hearing aid at Fruth with Nuvo Med hearing aids. Fruth makes it easier than ever, of course, to transfer your prescription services there, too. And our phone calls to the show are service of Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly. I want to welcome into the show now Secretary of State and gubernatorial candidate Mac Warner. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be with you. Thank
you for being here. Now, you're in today as part we're talking about Secretary of State stuff today. Now, you've been hearing about it for quite a while, the 2024 campaign season. Believe it or not, though, Secretary, it doesn't officially start. Actually, it officially started, I guess, what time the office opened, at 8:30 or so this morning. But from now until the 27th of this month, the official filing period for West Virginia is underway. And you're going to be hitting the road today. More on that coming up a little bit later on. But let's talk about this filing period. It's an exciting time to be a political follower, as I am, sir.
It is. To put it in terms you might understand, this would be like your Cowboys showing up at the stadium. Okay, this is
nice. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
There's a line outside my door right now. We've already signed up 15 people this morning already, and I'm sure it'll be dozens by the time noon hits. Yes, at 8 o'clock this morning, we started getting the paperwork together. It's an easy process to come through, fill out that paperwork, drop it off, drop your check off, and then move on out the door. But pick up your candidate guide. So the office is open. We are taking filings for official candidates to run, whether it's statewide offices, like your governor, Secretary of State, Attorney General, those sorts of statewide offices, but also those offices like House of Delegates and Senators. Wherever a district crosses a county line, those people file through the Secretary of State's office. Now, your local races can be done at your county clerk's offices, and you can also sign up for these other offices at the county clerk's as well. This is the opening of the campaign season. You can start to apply for your absentee ballots. It's already underway. So that's why it's good to be talking about this. We want to encourage people to run for office. We want to encourage people to check their registrations. If you haven't registered, get registered. If you want to change your registration, you can do that now. And all this can either be done in person at our office, your county clerk's office, or at govotewv.com. We want to encourage people to be poll workers. So basically everything election-related is underway now that the 2024 year is upon us, election year, and the season kicks off today with filing for office.
It's opening day, just like you use a sports analogy, just like baseball season, man. It's opening day. Hope springs eternal for candidates, I suppose. Talking to West Virginia Secretary of State Mac Warner this morning on the show. Now, as far as people coming to the Capitol, I know I talked to one gentleman earlier this morning that was going to file for House, and he planned to be there when you open. That turns into kind of a photo op from time to time, for people to kind of show up. And I've even seen people when I worked there serve people that would enter different doors because they wanted to get the angles just right. It's all become part of it.
It is, and that's a way with the rise of social media. You take a quick snapshot or a video, and you can put that out on social media and let people know what your office you're running for, that you have done it officially. They see you there with your paperwork. It's a nice visual, and as we know, that picture speaks 1,000 words. So we encourage people to do that. There was some press in here earlier this morning taking pictures and interviewing candidates. So the office is open. It's your office. It's the people's office. Come on in and be a part of it.
Now, the filing period runs through the 27th of January. Do you plan on staying open late on that final day? Because I know that used to be a thing where you'd stay open to like midnight or so, and people would kind of watch online to see if anybody did a last-minute filing. Is that the plan this time?
Exactly. That is a Saturday, and we open at 9 o'clock on that Saturday, and we will be open until midnight, not only here in Charleston, but also at our hubs in Clarksburg and Martinsburg. We will be doing that as well. You can also file by mail. Now, these applications do have to be notarized, so if you get it notarized and want to drop it in the mail, the key to that is making sure that that envelope has a postmark. It has to be postmarked by midnight on the 27th. And again, all this information can be found on the govotewv.com website. So we highly encourage people to go to that website, and all information, whether you want to download an application to run for office, apply to be a poll worker, want to know the key dates when you have to change your registration by, that sort of thing, it's all available at govotewv.com.
And it's probably a good idea, too, and Secretary, you mentioned this a little bit earlier, good idea to make sure that everything's okay with your registration, that you are officially registered to vote, because sometimes people, hard to believe, but sometimes people don't know if they're active or not, and you can do that on that website.
Exactly, and you can change that registration up until April 23rd is the voter registration deadline. That's 21 days prior to the election. That is the cutoff. So the clerks have time to get, make sure you're in the database, get you the right application or the right ballot when it comes time, send you to the right precinct, that sort of thing. So that's why there's a deadline, and that's April 23rd. So you still have plenty of time, but it's best just to go ahead and do it right now while we're talking about it, while you're thinking about it.
Now, you're going to be hitting the road, I understand. What's that all about?
I am. It's to do just what you and I are doing right here, and that's to get to the different parts of the state, let people know, encourage folks to pay attention that the election is upon us. If you want to file for office, you've got about 20 days right now to get that done. If you want to apply to be a poll worker, those sorts of things. It's basically just bringing attention to the fact that the election season is upon us. 2024, we all know, is the big election year, and it has now started. So I'll be hitting 14 counties in the next 4 or 5 days to talk about this very thing, just reminding people to update their registrations, encourage new people. Let's say you've just turned 18 or you've just moved into the state. We want to encourage those people to register to vote. And it's to educate the public on the resources that are available and the election process. You know yourself about the logic and accuracy testing of the machines. The machines are not attached to the internet, that sort of thing. But if a person goes and pays attention to the transparent opportunities that the county clerks allow them to watch that process, all of that goes towards building confidence in our election system. And that's what this whole discussion is about, is building confidence and getting interest in the election and the election process.
9:17, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Well, happy filing period, sir. As someone, as I mentioned, that I said worked in that office, I know how hectic it's going to be between now and the 27th. We'll check in with you a little bit later. Good luck. Be safe out on the trail, not only as Secretary of State, but also in your candidacy for governor. Wish you the best of luck. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, David. Great being with you. Secretary
of State Mac Warner. Again, the filing period is now open. It opened at 8 this morning through midnight on the 27th. And it's always interesting to see the photo op. And I was telling this story. I'm not going to mention the candidate's name, but when I did work in the office, there was actually a candidate for statewide office that came, and we were streaming the entire thing, where you could watch in real time people coming into the office. This candidate, and I'm not faulting the guy for doing it. He just wanted to get the best angle. He came in literally from different directions. He would walk in one door, and then they would say cut, and then he would go to the other door, and he would come in just to make sure he got the best angle. It's all part of the show, I guess, if you're running for office in West Virginia. It's 9:17. In the heart of West Virginia, there exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations and fostering a sense of belonging. Talking about Special Olympics, a remarkable initiative showcase of the latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580 WCHS. Text says, if the election was stolen and Trump did in fact win the election, how can he run for a third term? And what proof do you have that the election was stolen? As a public figure, it is your obligation to expose such corruption. What is your evidence? That, of course, aimed at Secretary of State and gubernatorial candidate Mac Warner. We're going to take a break. When we come back, State Democratic Party Chair Mike Pushkin will be stopping by the studio. He was one of those, I think, that was going to go file for office this morning. Plus, Megan Deal is here from Goodwill to talk about their job fairs they have going on in the state tomorrow, one here in Charleston, one in Vienna. And a little bit later on in the show, we're going to hear from Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin on Mayor Monday. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Realty Group. As a locally owned real estate powerhouse, they specialize in residential and commercial properties. No property too big or too small for Meeks. With their team of the finest realtors in the business, Meeks Realty Group is your trusted partner in finding your dream home or your dream commercial investment. Call them today, 304-401-1101, or visit meeks.us. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Unsure you're ready for retirement? That's understandable. After all, you only retire once. Make the smart choice and call 4th Avenue Financial. If it deals with retirement planning, you can be confident they have the experience you need. Retire right with 4th Avenue Financial. Go to 4thavenuefinancial.com or call 304-746-7977 to book your free introductory meeting today.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Incorporated, JW Cole Financial, JW Cole Advisors, and 4th Avenue Financial are unaffiliated entities.
Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street has served 3 generations of shoppers since 1955 as the largest locally owned independent grocery store in the area. The Joseph family owners grew up here, so you know they're invested in the community. They provide the biggest variety of choice meats, the freshest produce, an in-house deli bakery, great wine selection, and more of your favorite brands. Every purchase gives you gasoline points so you can save at our pumps. Order online for pickup at BigleyPigglyWiggly.com. Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street. No one beats the pig.
Oh, the West Virginia hills. Did you know that some of the best music in the world is made right here in our own backyard? If you take the time to listen, you'll hear something good. Join me, the Appalachian Soul Man, Aristotle Jones, as I highlight new music from West Virginia and Central Appalachia on Sounds Good to Me with Aristotle Jones. Saturday mornings at 8:06 on the Voice of Charleston, 580 WCHS.
Oh, the West Virginia hills.
It's 9:20, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Hudson's Pizza. This month is your favorite Hudson's. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of appetizer meatballs, only $24.99. Dine-in, delivery, or pickup. Visit Hudson'sPizza.com. Coming up later on the show, Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin will be stopping by for Mayor Monday. State Democratic Party Chair and Delegate Mike Pushkin is here, but now I want to welcome in Megan Deal from Goodwill. Megan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for being here. Going to be a big job fair held in the area tomorrow, 10 till 2. Actually, 2 fairs going on at once. One is here in Charleston, and the other is in the Parkersburg area up in Vienna. Now, that one's going to be held at the Grand Point Conference Center in Vienna, while the one in Charleston happening at the Goodwill Prosperity Center, 209 Virginia Street West. Both, again, being put on by Goodwill. Do want to mention that our sister station, 107.3 The Beat, will be broadcasting live from that one tomorrow. Megan, a lot of work goes into these things.
Yeah, a lot of work, definitely. We got together a few months ago towards the end of the last year and said, what can we do to really kick off a great new year? 2024, I think it's going to be a great year for this community and a great year for all of us. So like, what better than new year, new career? So I think something about Goodwill is that we're empowering people through employment. So even our own employees are going to be open to go to this job fair if they want to go somewhere out into the community and have a skill set that they have, but they're currently not utilizing with us. We're going to push them to go ahead and do that. So we want to start them into careers, not just jobs.
And we hear all the time, Megan, on the news about all the job openings, and employers are having a difficult time finding people that want to work or have the proper skill sets or whatever. So if you are, I guess the ball is kind of in the court of the prospective employees at this point, because they pretty much have their choice of jobs that they could be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. And we think that, and we think, it's just there's so many jobs of plenty out there, and why is nobody taking them? A lot of people don't understand with West Virginia, it's the transportation barrier is the problem. Yeah. I know Delegate Pushkin is familiar with this as well. When you have individuals that they don't have a car and they get outside of that Charleston metro area and don't have the KRT, don't have reliable public transportation, if they don't have that, they're walking to work. So they've got to figure out a way that is economical for their family and that they have the means to get to the job. So that's another way that we wanted to have it over there on the west side. Individuals can, be on KRT transit, they can drive, they can walk, and we can have them with a number of employers that are in the area or maybe close to where they need to be.
Yeah, it's something I hadn't thought about. But but once you get out of Charleston, Huntington, you start getting into some of these more rural areas, transportation is definitely an issue.
Right. And I have to, for my missions team, they would definitely want me to plug 2 programs that we have that are combating just that. One being Mission Mobile. We retrofitted a bus, if you will, that has Wi-Fi, desk, computer capabilities that we're going to take out into the rural areas of West Virginia, outside of the metropolitan areas, where they can sign up for services. We can help them with resume writing. We can help them register for their SNAP E&T benefits. They can connect to the Wi-Fi. They will have information on United Way 211 and things like that. Another way we're combating the transportation thing. And then also with Wheels to Work as a program that we're helping people actually purchase vehicles, matching down payments, securing loans for them. There's individuals out there that they just don't know where to start, and we want to be the place that they start trying to make a better life for them and their family.
Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by your local insurance experts from Brightway, the Maze Agency of Tays Valley. From your home to your car, even to your pet, Brightway, the Maze Agency will customize that perfect insurance plan for you at Brightway, the Maze Agency. They aren't just agents, they're your friends and neighbors. Call John and Sherry today, 304-814-2509, or visit brightwaymaze.com. What about for employers? Can they still sign up to be
Absolutely.
there?
I think that we're still having registration open. We're pretty understanding. We know how things just, they scroll past the social media feed. Maybe they didn't know about it. So, yeah, still accepting those registrations, I think, up until the end of today. But, yeah, come on by, 10 to 2 down here in Charleston, 10 to 2 up in Parkersburg at the Vienna Grand Point Center. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think a really rewarding day. Another thing that we're going to have at the Charleston one, because I just have a limited staff that I can send up to both areas, is we're going to offer complimentary headshots to people. So if they're wanting to come in and maybe they don't find the job that's right for them, they can come in and get a headshot they can use on their LinkedIn, maybe make part of their resume.
Okay.
A lot of people just don't have that nice, picture. I might be using one from a couple years ago. I might need to walk over there tomorrow and get a compliment.
Well, it's kind of cool that you're doing that because that's something. And along those same lines, a big part of it is resumes too. And so we always tell people when you have these job fairs, I was always told a long time ago, be prepared to go and be interviewed on the spot. So
Absolutely.
if you've got a resume, bring it. Now, is that something that you guys can offer, like resume building services?
Yeah, no, we have resume writing services. We have career matching services. We have something called open enrollment each week on Wednesdays where they can come in, get matched to any of the programs that they need for us. Soft skills. If somebody needs to learn how to work with a computer, we have courses through Coursera and Google. We're truly the one-stop shop for career development and workforce development for this area.
Can you talk about, or do you have a list of some of the employers you have signed up, or do you have that available? If you don't, that's fine. I kind of put you on the spot there.
No. We've got Charleston Property Restoration. We've got State Farm there tomorrow. Goodwill themselves, Adeco. I'm looking at all the different ones. West Virginia Tax Division. So State of West Virginia is even coming to help find some employees for us. So we're excited.
Is there a place where people can learn more? I know I've got that. I've posted I've done the poster on my social media, and I'll make sure I do that again later today and tomorrow. But is there a place where people can learn more? Yeah,
absolutely. Follow us on social media. On Facebook, we're at Goodwill KV, and there's an event on Facebook you can follow, has all the information. Any employers or maybe wanting to sign up last minute, you can feel free to email us at marketing@goodwillkv.com. We can get you signed up, but follow us on socials, and I think we'll have some fun things going on tomorrow. We'll have The Beat will be there tomorrow, broadcasting live, so it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, I think it is. So now, again, the one in Charleston, 10 to 2 at the Goodwill Prosperity Center. And as Megan said, The Beat will be broadcasting, so go hang out with Woody and the folks. I don't know if it's going to be Woody or G-Money or both, but
come hang out with me and whoever's there for The Beat.
That's all that matters right there. It's Megan's world, Pushkin. We're just living it, man. Megan Deal, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Good luck with everything tomorrow, okay?
All right, thanks, Dave.
All right, Megan Deal again from Goodwill. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling the kitchen, or replacing a bathroom to keep it safe, keep it legal, get with Pinnacle Consultants. They can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within about a week. Testing for all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead. It's the law in West Virginia. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can hurt you. State Democratic Party Chair Delegate Mike Pushkin is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. It is the most wonderful time of the year. Session starts in 2 days.
It does. We gavel in Wednesday at noon.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the State of the State address will be that evening. So, yeah, the legislature's coming back into session. And the House and Senate Democrats, although we are small in number, we are more united than ever, and we have some issues that we want to bring up and some things that we need to do. And hopefully they can be bipartisan issues and we can get some things done.
Let's talk about what's on that Democrats' wish list.
First and foremost, I think most would agree with me. The biggest problem we have here in West Virginia, everything can be related back to a people problem, and we simply don't have enough people here. We have workforce issues in West Virginia. We have issues finding folks to work in the public sector as well as the private sector. When we have a shortage of teachers, we have a shortage of correctional officers, we have a shortage of child protective service workers. We have a shortage of people in West Virginia. So what we want to do is make it an easier choice for people to stay here or to relocate here. And that means helping people, first of all, keep more of their money to live here. So whether that's supporting the pay raises to offset the PEIA rate increases for our public workers, also doing something to actually address the PEIA issue, like find a permanent funding source for that, so we don't need to continually raise the rates on our public workers. That includes cost of living adjustment for our retired public workers who haven't seen a real cost of living adjustment in far too long. That means making it accessible for people to get child care so young parents can get to work and have the time to get to work. It's a whole host of issues all about making it easier for people to live here. That also means empowering people to make decisions for themselves. So we also strongly support constitutional amendment protecting reproductive rights. And no matter how you feel about the issue, I think that it's important to have the people decide. Have people make those decisions for themselves, so we want it on the ballot.
I want to talk about child care for a moment. I know Senator Woelfel, I think it was out of Cabell County, is proposing, or he was talking about maybe doing some sort of a child, like a tax credit.
To pay for child care. Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've supported 110%.
Okay.
It's a big. We have a huge child care crisis in this state, and it makes it hard for people to stay here, live here, work here, raise a family here. It makes it hard when they don't have access to child care. So yeah, it's a crisis that needs to be addressed.
Senator Blair, I know on Friday there was an event, Mike, over at the Culture Center, kind of a little get together.
Yeah, I think it's called the Legislative Look Ahead.
Yeah, look for with the Press Association, so on and so forth over there. One of the things that he mentioned there, and he's mentioned other places too, is possibly a reinstatement of the death penalty in West Virginia, particularly for those that deal fentanyl. Your thoughts?
I cannot in good conscience support that. I find it. I cannot support that. I will never support the death penalty. We want to make it easier for people to live here. That's what we want to do.
Not to die here.
Yeah. I cannot support the death penalty.
Okay, even for those who deal with fentanyl.
We don't have the death penalty in West Virginia. No matter how horrible the crime is, the most is life in prison. I do not support the death penalty.
Text says, ask your guest if the legislature can address a cooperative agreement with neighboring states for a combined governmental insurance program that addresses the cost and services for insurance.
Or for PEIA. That's that's something we should be looking at everything, because I think what we have now is just a failure of our lawmakers to make tough decisions on creating and designating a permanent funding stream for that agency. I've always said all along it's not just about patching it up with one-time funds. We have to create a permanent funding stream for that, and there's several different ways you could do that.
28 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. From kitchens to paints to decks, straight framing wood, roofing metal, and everything else you may need, you'll find it at General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. I want to go back to something you said there, had to do with reproductive rights. You were saying that you would like to have the abortion issue put on the ballot in West Virginia.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. How do you think that will go?
I think it would go like it has gone in every other state, and I think people would vote to return to the rights that we had, which is basically the rights under Roe v. Wade. Even in red states, when it's been put on the ballot, that's how it's gone. I don't know of a state that voted for it that didn't do that. Now, people will say, yeah, well, the people voted on it in 2018. It was a completely different question. What was voted on in 2018 included public funding, and there are some people out there, I imagine, who are pro-choice, but still maybe more fiscally conservative that would vote against that. This is a completely different question. What we're talking about is just a protection of reproductive rights, and it's worded. What we're proposing is worded much the same way that the Ohio Amendment was worded, which is really a return to the protections under Roe. So there are limitations. There are certain restrictions. It's what this country had for 50 years. That's what it is.
Mike, I'll be honest with you. I don't think the Republicans want that on the ballot, because I think they know which way it'll go. Now, again, I know that there may be people listening right now that think that maybe all Republicans are pro-life or whatever it is that you want to call it. But I don't. There's a reason why it's not been placed in a simpler language on the ballot in West Virginia as it was in Ohio, in my opinion.
Well, I think allowing people to vote on it is the way to go. It's hard to argue against that. Just simply let the people make that decision for themselves. Hard to argue with. I'm for the people making that decision for themselves.
Text says, would say the circus is back in town, but that's an insult to circuses, says the texter. Just leave that one alone. Mike, it was reported on Friday that your counterpart of the Republican Party side, the chair of the GOP, Elgin McCardle, possibly stepping down maybe to run for another office. Won't be official until the party meets for their winter meeting in Charleston coming up on the 20th of this month. Any thoughts on that for you?
Well, I wish her well, and I respect her decision. I still go back to I believe it was an interview she did on this show, where she said, if you don't believe the same way we do, then move. I feel the exact opposite of that. I want people, whether I agree with them or not, I want people to move to West Virginia. We need people in West Virginia. I felt that the statement by the she's still the chair.
Yeah,
she hasn't stepped down yet. So the statement from the chair of the West Virginia GOP was really the exact opposite of the message we should be sending out to the rest of the world, the rest of the country. We want people to move here. We don't want just people who agree with us. We want people. And if we're not attracting young people to this state, and if young people are leaving this state in droves, what kind of future does this state have? Everything we do during the legislative session, everything we do should be run through the prism of, will this bring young people back to West Virginia? Because if we don't have that, we don't have a future here.
Well, Mike, now that the filing period is officially underway, opened up at 8 o'clock this morning, when can we expect to start hearing some names of those on the Democratic Party that'll be running for some of these offices, be it House or the constitutional office holders? Mm-hmm. When are we going to hear some of these names?
Well, I imagine you'll hear some today, and as it goes on throughout the filing period. Actually, I'm going to go file. I don't know if this is breaking news or not, because I don't think it's
going to be my next question.
When I leave here, I'm going to go fill out the paperwork, and I'm going to file to run for re-election for the 54th House District here in Kanawha County.
You had opposition last time. Mm-hmm. You didn't have opposition in the primary, did you, last time?
No, I didn't have any opposition.
But you did in the general. Yeah. Okay. So does it ever, and I mean this as in the best possible way, does it ever get frustrating, though, for you as the head of the state Democratic Party chair, that the numbers just keep getting worse and worse for the Democrats? Is there ever a time that might, and I know you're a fighter, I know you're a good dude, but I mean, is there ever a time that Mike Pushkin just goes, man, I just don't know about this?
No, we're up. Look, it's no secret that we're up against a whole lot. I think there's a real misconception of what Democrats really stand for, and that part is frustrating because I know what we really stand for. We're the ones that we stand for basic working class values, that people should get paid living wage. They should be safe at the workplace. We should have good schools for everybody's kids. We should have good roads for all of us to drive. Well, basically what Democrats believe and what we've always believed, I think it was best stated by the late Senator Paul Wellstone, we all do better when we all do better. That's what Democrats believe. So, yeah, it is frustrating when we get misrepresented as something that we're not.
Text says, Dave, thanks to Delegate Pushkin for standing against the death penalty in West Virginia. Supporting the death penalty requires complete trust in the justice system, which is a disaster in West Virginia. One individual alone, Fred Zane, proves why a public death penalty is wrong.
That is a very good point. That's a great two-word argument against the death penalty. That's Fred Zane. You can't appeal a final decision like that. There are times when they get it wrong, and God forbid an innocent person is put to death by the government. I just, in good conscience, I cannot. My own religious and spiritual beliefs would prevent me from voting for that. I will never support that.
A couple quick tests before we let you go. Ask Pushkin, what do you support caning like they do in Singapore for punishment?
Caning?
Caning.
I don't know.
Dave, no to recreational marijuana in West Virginia. Too much addiction in West Virginia and the nation. Simply common sense.
Well, okay. Well, I'm glad that your texter brought that up, because another thing I would like to see on the ballot, and I think that many of the House Democrats are going to bring up, I believe we're united in this. We would also like to see a constitutional amendment that would legalize cannabis for adult use only.
And
let however you feel about your texter who just texted in would have the right to go out and vote against it.
Okay.
But the people who support it would be able to go out and vote for it. And then you're talking about a permanent funding stream for PEIA. That's one of the things you could do with some of the revenue from that.
Final text before we let you go. What rights will Republicans take away from women this session? Stay tuned. Women need to get out and vote or risk losing your rights.
I got a better idea than that. I think women should get out and run. The filing period started this morning. Yep. There was a crowd up there up at the Secretary of State's office. I'm going to go up there later and I'm going to file. But I think it's a good idea for women not just to get out and vote, get out and run.
All right, one final one. You cannot support killing of a person who has committed hideous crimes, yet you can support killing innocent babies and endanger the health of that mother.
I support a woman's right to choose.
Well,
and that's not how I see it.
Well, good luck to you. This as you're going to be heading back over to the Capitol to sign up for office, and good luck in getting all these positions, getting people to run for all these positions.
Does this mean I get to come back on as a candidate? Because come on now.
You get to do the meet. We're going to start doing the meet the candidate segment. You get to come on, and I get to ask you questions like I don't already know the answers to. You know. So tell us about Mike Pushkin.
Well, I'm gonna have to study up on that. Actually, I'll get back to you.
Just don't talk about the NFL because you're a Jets fan. All right.
Well, I was happy to see that. I don't want to upset anybody, but the Dolphins, as good of a season they had, they didn't win the division. They lost the division last night.
But the Cowboys are in.
The Cowboys won there, and they were. You thought the Eagles had it locked up all. It's fun to watch. I like watching football, even when my team's out of it. I think. With the Jets out, the two teams I think, my NFC team and my AFC team that I can root for without really feeling horrible about myself. I can root for the Cleveland Browns and I can root for the Detroit Lions.
How
can you be against?
I got friends and family members that are big Browns fans, and Steve Animal, my man upstairs at the mountain, a big Detroit fan. So
if the perennial underdogs.
If the Cowboys don't win it. Then I'm 100% behind Detroit.
The Cowboys are looking good. They're the only team that is not. I don't believe they've lost a game at home.
No,
yet.
they're 16. They've won the last 16 in a row at home.
Yeah, and they're playing at home.
And we play the Packers this week at home. All right.
I like their chances in that game.
All right, get out of here. Get ready to make a difference with WVRC Media. Charleston's Drop Your Socks drive-thru starting Thursday the 18th. We're going to be teaming up with Thornhill Auto Group to help our neighbors in need. Bring new socks to our studios, 1111 Virginia Street East in Charleston. Help us warm the hearts and the feet of many this winter. Details coming soon for the Voice of Charleston. WCHS. Mayor Goodwin is next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Nearly every day, there is a company announcing new jobs in West Virginia. Thanks to the leadership of State Senator Eric Nelson, West Virginia's economy is growing and our future looks bright. Senator Eric Nelson has been part of the team advancing important pro-growth policies, and because Senator Eric Nelson has helped control government spending, West Virginians are receiving the biggest tax cut in our state's history. Vote for more jobs. Vote for lower taxes. Vote for State Senator Eric Nelson. Paid for by the committee to elect Eric Nelson.
Hey, it's Sydney welcoming you to the new Thornhill Toyota. Nestled in the heart of the Thornhill Motor Mile, where the magic of the holidays meets the thrill of Toyotathon. Whether you're dashing through the snow or cruising to Mama's house, Toyotathon at Thornhill Toyota has something for everyone. Unwrap incredible savings, special financing, and the joy of driving a brand new Toyota. Make this season merrier with us at Thornhill Toyota. Let's go places with Toyotathon and Thornhill. Shop ThornhillToyotaWV.com and on the road to total savings US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for all details.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
17 away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Bridge Valley. Are you interested in improving your company's IT workforce? So did you know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap? At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships for more information today. Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin is here. We're going to get to her in a couple of moments. But before I get to the mayor, I do want to pass this along, and that is a mention of the passing of a very good friend of mine and a big part of the radio community here in Charleston, Barry Wallace, who did sales for some of our competition over at LM Communications. That would be Rock 105 in the mix. Died suddenly over the weekend. I worked with Barry at LM from roughly 2016, 2017 until I left there in early 2020. Barry was just one of those guys that everyone loved. He was the life of any party, overall good guy. He died unexpectedly over the weekend. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Barry's family and all of his friends and also the people over at LM Communications as well. He was one of the good ones, and he will certainly be missed. Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin is here. Welcome to the show, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Also, former Senator John Pat Fanning, who was actually a very good friend of my grandmother's. Thais Frances O'Donnell Blatnick. You know, I always have to say her name in full because that's what you do.
Yep.
As she served in the House and in the Senate when he was there. And so I know a lot of families at the State House lost a person that they worked very closely with for so many years, doing good work for West Virginia, and especially Southern West Virginia.
Did you have a good holiday season?
I did. My boys were home. It was wonderful. You forget how much they eat. You forget how much laundry you have to do. It's just 2. It's not that much, but when it turns to 4, and they're, my boys are, as I always love to say, the perfect size, refrigerator size. So it was lovely. It was lovely time to reflect, and how could you not have a good holiday season in Charleston? It was probably the time of year in 5 years, Dave. The ball. I mean, I know you've reported on this too, but at the ballpark, when you have 120,000 people from 40 plus different states come to your city, writing to me, tagging me, texting, emailing, saying, "Hey, thanks. You're going to do this again next year, right?" This is coming back. So with Holly Jolly Brawley and that influx, what we're seeing now is more interest and development around that November, December, and early January, which is great.
Mayor, I want to talk to you about the last week it made news. You had the city council meeting, the tabling of the proposed resolution that some had wanted, calling for a ceasefire in the Israeli-Hamas war. Now, you and council offered to table that resolution. Do you care to comment on that?
Well, first and foremost, on December 22nd, 20 members of council, including myself, sent a letter to Shelley Moore Capito, Senator Capito, Senator Manchin, and Congresswoman Miller, asking for their assistance. We had a wonderful group of folks from our Muslim community and our Jewish community come I didn't even know they were going to be there, but super happy to see them on that 18th, that Monday the 18th, and had asked us to do something. There was an email that was sent saying, "Hey," from somebody outside of the city of Charleston, saying, "Hey, would you do a resolution or something like that?" And what council members and I felt, most of the time we don't do resolutions of that sort, but letters, especially when it talks about things outside of our control. We've done it with the PSC and things like that. Sure. So outside of the purview, if you will, of city government. But that a letter of support not only for our Muslim community here, our local Muslim community, and our Jewish community, saying that we wanted peace, that we love both of these communities. We know that people are hurting. And so really that was the reason behind the letter, is to show our support in what we believed. And when I say we, I mean the majority of council believed that was the best way that we could show our support through city government. And so it was we worked a long time on that letter, and it wasn't just me. It was a lot of folks in this community who worked on that letter to show our support. And that was on the 22nd.
Were you surprised by the reaction as part of the council meeting? Because there were some people. I mean, you had to go into recess, and it got a little out of hand there. Of course, I wasn't there, but I did see the coverage. I've got a little bit out of hand. People chanting shame and things of that nature. Did that surprise you? Well,
this is what I believe. Just as I believe then, that's everybody's right. That's people's right to do that. And so shame on us when we start saying, no, you can't speak, or no, you can't say things. Of course you can. Now, we have to conduct business. That's why always at the beginning of council, most folks, and you know this, and your reporters know this because they're there reporting, or they listen in online, which you can now too. 5 years ago, it was the very first meeting that I started. You can see it online, you can hear it online, because we should be transparent.
Sure, yeah.
And so we always include and invite folks to come out and speak. And so, that is part of the process, and that is part of good government and open government, that it doesn't matter if somebody agrees with me or not. They have the right to speak, whether I like it or not, whether it hurts my feelings or not, whether I think it is truthful or not. That's everyone's right.
Text says, please inform the mayor and ask her to inform the protesters from the city council meeting that there was a ceasefire until November 28th. That ended when Hamas attacked Israeli troops. So those people need to contact Hamas to demand that they end this, not Israel. I'm going to kind of go along, Mayor, with what former Mayor Danny Jones said on the show on Hoppy last week. And I kind of have a tendency to agree with that in that when it comes to city government, no matter what the city is, fix my potholes. Work on transportation, work on things of that nature. I don't know that it's the place of city government, in my opinion, to get involved in things like that.
Yeah, I hear you. And while that is a policy, you're talking about policy. The reason why we wanted to send the letter and that we wanted to take some bit of action, Dave, is that when members of our community are hurting, we want them to know that we are with them. And so, yes, while I tend to agree with you, this is something that our senators and our representative, our congressional have it's kind of in their purview, right? It's in their view. Our view is still at a local level, taking care of our family members and friends who are hurting, and to show our support that way, not necessarily to do resolutions demanding something on a federal or international level be done, but to say to our families, members, and our friends, which, by the way, those folks in that crowd, they are very close friends of mine, so many of them. I understand their pain. I am sad with them. I'm sad for them. But we just felt the best way was to do that through a letter. And I think it was a beautiful letter, and I'm glad we sent it.
9:51, we'll take a break. We're right back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
High school basketball talent will come together February the 5th through the 8th on the campus of West Virginia State University as Game Changer and Par-Mar stores present the Par-Mar Shootout. The shootout has been extended to 4 full days this year. Come see the top boys and girls teams in the state battle it out, 32 games in all. The first games tip off at 9:30 each morning. Game Changer and Par-Mar stores present the Par-Mar Shootout on the campus of West Virginia State University February 5th through the 8th. For a complete list of games, visit Par-Mar stores on Facebook and X. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Hello, I am Judge Stephanie Abraham, and I am running for Circuit Court here in Kanawha County.
Judge Stephanie Abraham was appointed to the Circuit Court by Governor Jim Justice. Judge Stephanie Abraham owned and managed her own law firm and was an attorney for the Department of Education and General Counsel for the State Board of Education. Judge Stephanie Abraham is a fair and balanced but tough judge who will always follow the Constitution to protect liberty and achieve justice for all.
I am Judge Stephanie Abraham. I appreciate your vote for Kanawha County Circuit Court.
Paid for by the committee to elect Judge Stephanie Abraham.
Get the latest local news and weather, live high school sports, and your favorite talk shows like 580 Live and Ask the Expert. Right from your smartphone with the 580 WCHS app. Go to Google Play or the App Store now and search for WCHS. Or check out WCHSnetwork.com and download the app today. Then you'll have the news and information you need to connect to our community. The WCHS app. The WCHS app. Now available at WCHSnetwork.com.
7 away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by East Coast Tees and the Vinyl Frontier. Attention political candidates, East Coast Tees is more than just T-shirts. They can do custom embroidery and hats, shirts of all kinds. Make your campaign and your name stand out with East Coast Tees. Visit eastcoasttees.com and see what they can do for you. Text says the mayor and city council did the right thing. Municipalities don't do foreign policy, period. Text says there was a ceasefire before the 7th of October, says a texter. Texter says, I would love if the mayor would encourage Brawley trees to stay decorated the entire stretch they're advertised to be up.
Yeah.
It's sad when a few are naked early.
I know. Boy, we wish we could keep them up all the time, but Mother Nature sometimes gets in the way. And speaking of Mother Nature, if you don't mind, Dave, people ask me all the time, listen, when I became mayor, I knew that I would have to do a lot of things. I did not know that I would have to keep my eye on the sky and focused on our weather pattern systems more than half of the time during the winter. But Mother Nature, she put a lot of ice on our roads this morning, so it was slick. And so
I don't think a lot of people were expecting that either.
No, they weren't. And I was up and out of the house early this morning, as I normally am at dark, and it was very foggy. It was very slick. But most important to let folks know, listen, there's a reason why we have 17 trucks and 6,000 tons of salt ready to go at a moment's notice. Because welcome to West Virginia, welcome to beautiful Appalachia, Mother Nature. She has her, her thumb on what she wants to do at the time. And I will say, starting, just to give everybody forewarning is fair warning, at least this is what we have right now as a report starting at Dave at 1 a.m. upcoming here on Tuesday. We don't know how long it's going to last just yet. Hello, weather. 50-mile-an-hour winds, really heavy rains. It's going to be a stretch, which means for us, we prepare now. We get the trucks ready to go out, debris falling, power lines. And so forewarning is fair warning. I don't know how long it's going to last, but hey, listen, if you're working shift work, if you're a nurse, if you're coming in late, about 1 a.m.
And this is not a snow and ice issue. This is high winds.
I mean, it's rain and high winds right now, which can be very treacherous and very damaging. So please prepare, take caution. If you're sending a kid back late to school this week, I know a lot of kids are not going back till Wednesday. If you're sending somebody back, please be mindful of some of the weather that we have coming in.
Text says, why are you wasting so much time discussing the war? You just said it doesn't matter to local government. Well, in all fairness, I'm the one that brought that up. Text says, let's talk about the excessive pay to employees and the chief of police issue. Where are we in the search for a police chief? Yeah, sure. So for the first time ever in the history of the city of Charleston that we can tell, I'm actually doing interviews and an application process. So that application is still open online. As a matter of fact, last night at home, I took a stack of, I want to say, 13, 14 applications. Some in the department, some in the state, some out of state, across the country, of folks who want to be the next chief of police. As I had mentioned many times before, I'm taking my time on this. I want to be thorough in this process. And, really, this is a process that we should have changed probably a long time ago. And I'm happy to do it. It's going to be an intensive process. Listen, when you're running for, I don't care if it's city council or mayor or senator, you have that public scrutiny. And while the mayor ultimately gets to decide who is our chief of police, I'm putting a little bit more, not a little bit more, a lot more time and attention through this application process and this interview process. So we're right in the middle of it. Applications close on the 15th. You can do it online. I think it's the 15th, which is next Monday, Dave. And then the week following, I'll be doing interviews. Next 2 weeks following, depending on people's schedule. And then I'll make a decision, right there thereafter. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Maybe wintertime, but we're always thinking baseball over at the ballpark. Take a look at their schedules, whatnot, on their website. All right, so the legislature gets going later this week, Mayor. I think sometimes people don't take into account the decisions made under the dome and how they can impact cities, especially larger cities like the capital city of Charleston. What are you looking at as far as the session goes? Well, by the way, somebody asked, when are you announcing your bid for governor? I am, I'll say this. My State of the City is going to be done on the 16th, there and about. So in January, yes, we always look eyes to the Gold Dome, right? What are they saying in the state of the state? That always is the governor's agenda and his department. So we always make sure that we're looking. Our State of the City will be done as well. And, first and foremost, and, just as Mike said on the way out the door, hey, I'll call you later. Hey, I'll talk to you later. Having good relationships and open relationships with the folks here from the House and Senate who represent us, making sure those lines of communication are good, working with the West Virginia Municipal League on things that they're hearing, or senators or delegates or the governor's office that are reaching out to them to say, hey, we want to work with the cities on this issue or this issue. So always we are very intimately involved in those conversations, and but it first starts with an office visit. I'll tell you, we've had great relationships with Roger Hanshaw, who has always had a wonderful open door policy, really good speaker in terms of listening to our municipalities. All right. Now, you said your State of the City is coming up on the 16th, is that right? I think that I have the date right because it's Martin Luther King on Monday, and I think it's going to be on the 16th. All right, we'll be listening. So. Mayor, as always, I appreciate you being here. Glad to be here. Thank you. Missed you. Thanks a lot. Coming up on the show tomorrow, we got two gubernatorial candidates on the show tomorrow. Patrick Morrissey is on the show tomorrow, as well as the Libertarian candidate for governor, Erica Kolnisch, will be on the show tomorrow as well. Plus, tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of the water crisis in Charleston. Jeff Jenkins from the newsroom will join us, and former Mayor Danny Jones will be on to talk about that. Hoppy is coming up. Follow the news of the day at WVMetroNews.com and at WCHSNetwork.com. For my producer, Ryan Nicholson, I will see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
580 WCHS AM, 96.5 FM Charleston, and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.